650B frame behind me for about 8 years. I think it's about time we did something with it. Regular viewers to the channel will know the last few bikes I've done have had a very much off-road flavour. Lots of gravelly type things and mountain bike restorations. You all enjoyed that one. That's going to change slightly because I'm feeling a Randonneur flavour, rando vibes to this video with the shape of this Roger Page that you see behind me. Let me tell you a bit about it. Okay, so this 56, 57 centimetre steel frame you see here is a Roger Page. Roger Page Cycles was a bike shop in Cotteridge in Birmingham. I didn't get it from there, nowhere near. I bought it from a cycle jumble and I bought it on a bit of a whim back when I had my shop, the Vintage Bike Cartel, and I put it into stock and it stayed there for many years because I discovered after buying it that it is in fact a 650B framed bike. So it was no use to man nor beast a few years ago because nobody was interested in that unless you bought something of a French persuasion. So it has sat and done nothing until I just saw it the other day and thought, do you know what, it's time to do something with that. And I have some 650B wheels knocking about. That's where it began. And it's going to go from there. The wheels. Check these out. So you might have seen these wheels before. These were given to me by Dave at Pickering's Bikes when I converted the Diamondback gravel conversion to 650B. And they have been sitting around since then. I haven't really been using them. Quick look online and I found these Panaracer Col de Vie Randonneur tyres. They're kind of a retro off-roady type tread. I mean, have a look, I don't know whether that'll focus. They're kind of like, they've got a bit of knobble to them but not, and they just look like a really comfortable place to be. They were £9 each, these tyres. I thought that's a bargain. I'm building this bike. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to build up a Randonneur style bike with some cool parts. Starting out with the cockpit. Got these Nitto Japanese bars with a nice polished stem and some Campagnolo levers. Yeah, that is a cool combo. Yeah, you might notice these aren't brifters. That's because we're having Campagnolo bar end shifters. Continuing the Italian decadence, I've got a little bit more Campag. Yeah, going with a little bit of this. Well, it's Zenon, I think, on Mirage. It's nothing special, but it's nice. Brakes, however, I've gone really old school because I've seen these on some Randonneur bikes and they look so cool. I've got some Mafak centre pulls that I have completely refurbished, brought them back to life, all cleaned. They're not been polished yet, but we might have a go. New cables. These are going to give me the drop that I need for the 650B and lots of clearance for mud and mud guards. So that's the stuff. Let's start putting it on the bike. Okay, so first order of business is to reunite flame and fork. Flame and fork? Frame and fork. I said flame because I'm going to show you this. This shows this was nice bespoke hand built. The colour written on there is where they were going. Anyway, I'm going to put this headset back together and I'm going to do it the right way. Liberal helping of grease there. Let's put this bearing on that way. A little bit more grease around the top. You might notice that I'm being a little bit facetious about this, but I've got a little bit of a confession to make. There was a couple of eagle-eyed people watching my last video who spotted, I'm talking about the Rally Maverick by the way, there's a couple of people watching that video, one of which is a chap I work with, Rich, talking about you, and the other was somebody I don't know, who noticed that I put the bearings in the wrong way round in the top. So, as paranoid as I am, these bearings are the right way round. In this Tange headset, or Tangy, or whatever the hell you want to call it. I'm going to take this moment to apologise profusely for any distress I may have caused. What's even more strange is that the headset worked absolutely perfectly, even though the bearings were in the wrong way around. These bearings are in the right way around, and that is a beautiful thing. So we need a gear hanger, and that's not the right one. There we go, that was the right one, just needed the little doodad taking off. Lovely! One more than that, that's what it had. Here we go, let's lock this off. Oh, that's lovely. Right, I think let's put the cockpit in while we're here. Okay, so I want all the height that this little adapter can offer me when fitted, but sitting like that is going to look pretty tonk. So I have made this, some spaces with a shim inside, and I'm going to go for the height that I want to give me that sort of sized up vibe. So let's pop that through there and drop it down, push it down so it all goes stiff and uniform and looks kind of nice. That's far too many. Let's reduce that a little bit. Yeah, okay, because that looked rubbish, I have just took it down to 2 spaces. I'm allowed to change my mind, you know. Let's tighten that in place just for the first bit. Tidy up after myself. Let's get some wheels in it. Okay, so out back it is a snug fit with this Randonneur tyre, but with the correct dish and a nice true wheel, it's lovely. I have done a little bit of adjustments to the chainstays just here on the inside. Just pressed them in ever so slightly with a, basically with a block of wood and a hammer in the nicest possible way, just to get them to come around to my way of thinking. While we're back here, we're going for a 10-speed 1134. You'll notice this is a Shimano HG cassette. I know we're using Campagnolo, but we're also using friction. Yes! Close my tool drawer. Right, front wheel coming in hot. Here we go. God, the dropouts are so chunky on this bike. Really nice. There we see. First little rolling chassis. Isn't she cool? While we're building the rolling chassis, we might as well go ahead and fit our bottom bracket. Now, taking a bit of a gamble on the bottom bracket sizing, because I found this 118 on the side and it's brand new, so I really hope it'll fit. We're using a triple down to a double for gearing wise, so hopefully we'll be all right. The threads don't feel amazing, but let's hope we can get this in. Oh, that's quite tight. Okay, let's have this back out and give it a clean again. So I think the least said about that bottom bracket, the better. That was really tough to get in, despite cleaning the threads up. If I had a chasing tool, it would be really handy, and I'd be able to chase it through, but I haven't. So let's hope it's the right size bottom bracket, because I'm not changing it. Hey, guess what? It's not the right size bottom bracket. Yeah, I mean, you can see how tight this thing is. No. That'll be coming out again. Okay, so managed to get a much shorter bottom bracket. So with the smaller bottom bracket in place, we've come in a good few mil, and hopefully this is going to solve our original problem, especially if I can find the bolt. Dip of grease on there. I'm going to crank her up. Whatever this is the chain line it's going to be, because this is way shorter. That's much better. There we go, that's a nice line. All right, crank this one on and get some derailleurs. Derailleur wise, this is what I'm hoping to run. So for up front, I'm using a triple converted to a double. I'm using the inner 2 spacings, and I'm going for a 4630, which is basically kind of what you get on GRX these days. Now, I'm being all hopeful because I want to run this Campag, but if we get any clearance issues, we've got a problem. I think we're going to get away with that. Out back, because it's only a short cage, and again, we are super duper experimenting here. I'm going with a goat link, which to some Campagnolo purists may have, I don't know, might have sick in their mouths at this point. But gears is gears, and I like Campag because it needs very little maintenance. it just does as it's told. So hopefully, because it's got a 34, these are normally only good up to about a 28, so we'll see how we go. This might not be needed, but it is what it is. So there we go. This is our drivetrain out back. This is what we're going to be running. I'm also running 175mm cranks because that's my preference. These are actually old Shimano. I think they're Dior or Dior XT. They give you the 110 BCD with a triple inside. So that means you can run this ratio, which is basically the same as what you get on GRX at the moment. Something like that, 4630. Bang on. So there we go. That's our drivetrain. Everything clears. So we've got a couple of bits to do up front. And one of those jobs up front is this, the all-important cable stops. Nice brand new set. Get them in place. This means going forwards, could you pretty much run anything you want. Gearing wise, you can run brifters, whatever. We just happen, or I want bar and shifters for a change. I haven't had a set for a while on the go. Nice. Okay, so if you haven't fitted bar end shifters before, they're pretty simple. They just expand in place of your end cap, and then you fit the shifter. So for the rear derailleur shift on this, I've taken a 10-speed Campagnolo shifter and converted it to friction. So I've removed the ratcheting from inside. This is totally rebuildable if you decide you suddenly want to run gears. I've replaced the brass washer with a thick tap style washer, and I now have perfectly suitable friction shifter. And it's still pretty because it's Campagnolo. There we go. Bar end shifters. Let's put the brake calipers on. Okay, for the brakes out back, these centre pulls couldn't really be any simpler. Space them out so they don't hit the frame. Secure them in place with a 10mm nut and a suitable washer. I'm using a little concave washer just because these have got to go. Right, I've just remembered why I don't like these. I need my flat spanner. So yeah, you just need a flat spanner just to hold it in place. Otherwise the nut spins because it's not captive. Hopefully set them somewhere in the middle and check that you're going to get the angle you want. Yeah, these are going to work just fine. There we go. Right, to the front. Okay, so for the front, for your benefit, dear viewer, I've got this up on the bench on a bit of an angle so you can see what these brakes look like as they go on. Again, space it so that it doesn't sit against the frame, and then we need a nut and a washer. There we go. There we go. Centre pull heaven. Right, so we've got our brakes in place. We've got all our hardware in place actually, and that's the beauty of this bike, is really flying together. Let's get a chain in and see if this link is going to do its job. For this bike, we are using a Shimano HG something or other chain. Pretty much same level as the Shimano cassette that we fitted. Hopefully it's going to work all right with what we want to do. With the help of this goat link, we're going to try and get this chain as long as we can manage. Wow. So we're going to have to take quite a few links out of this as it stands. I'm not entirely sure that's going to work, because that's not even on the smallest cog. Okay folks, wish me luck, because this doesn't feel right at all. It's all an experiment here folks. This might not work at all, and then we'll just put something unbranded on the back that's long gauge. Wow, not sure how I feel about that. Okay, wow. Well, that's really exciting. Oh, hello. Let's just sort that limit out so we can get it up to that. There comes a time when you just have to kind of stop for a second, take a break and re-evaluate, and that is this point in this build. I'm not happy with the drop link short cage derailleur combination, and I'm also not happy with the Mafak brakes. So we're going to change both those things really quickly. I've managed to find, yeah, check this out, long cage Campag, and I've got some longer drop, dual pivot, modern brakes for that. Just nicer look, just as powerful brakes, all good. Let's crack on, see if this works the way we want it. Okay, so with that short cage derailleur out, it's now moment of truth time for this little Campagnolo long cager. One thing I do like about this long cage Campag stuff, tell it's been a long day. One thing I do like about this Campag long cage stuff is that it has a traditional B-limit screw, which when you're trying to fudge your gear ratios like we are, is really handy. So here it is, and it's very pretty, as we'd expect from Campagnolo. Oh, before I put that through, I've got a matching front derailleur as well. Let's get that. Yes, this is exciting news. I totally forgot about this. While I was digging around in my box of bits, my stash of front derailleurs, I found not only a silver Campag front derailleur, but also one with a proper clamp for this size of tube, which got me very, very excited because it's going to look so much cleaner. This is going to really, really sleeken this front end up. Let's get this in place. Try and do this without obscuring your view. Oh, look at that. That's much nicer than that massive clamp. Now we can put, yes! Look at that. That is a lovely thing. Yes, a quick limit adjustment, and that is good to go. Oh, my build is back on track, and let me show you the brake as well. Yes, so what I would have been showing you right now is some dual pivot calipers, but I've actually ended up having to go for some more centre pulls, but these are Shimano Tawny, they're a little bit newer, and yeah, it's been a bit of a drama, and it's not the back brake that's been the problem with this, unfortunately, it's been the front. So around the front, the drop is really, really strange. It's basically in desperate need of a long drop caliper, so I need more than 50, sort of 59 or 60 mil drop. So I found these, and I've added some Campag cartridge pads because they fit perfectly. So yeah, so we're back on. Let's connect things up. Okay, next job for me is to get these brakes working and working well. Now, interestingly, we've got some Campagnolo levers here, and these are from, I think, the 80s. And they're quite interesting because these can be run either aero or in the traditional method with the cables coming out over the top. And I think Campag were probably the first and only people to bother doing this. We're going to go aero. So these are really nice. These Campag levers are quite a good find actually. They've still even got the stickers on the back of them, so I don't think they've had a lot of use. So we're going to be running these down underneath the Nito bars. Lovely. Right, that's going to go up and into there. We need a little doodad for that now. Here we go, look at that. Just found a hanger thing, which I think is going to be absolutely perfect for our needs. Slight cable guide reluctance here. Here we go. Oh dear. The inner thing is not feeling so much of an complete inner thing anymore. What I'm going to do, I'm going to pick this out. I'm going to pick this out and I'm going to use a bit of a V-brake noodle, I think, as a guide instead. Oodles of noodles. So I'm going to put a V-brake noodle in like that. So there we go. So that's sat in now the way it should be. And hopefully we'll be able to guide it through and have a lovely smooth guide. So there we go. That's our guide now. Let's just get some tape to hold that in place. Right, so with the cable guided, I've got some new hangers. I'm going to pull this cable through. Now there's quite a few ways to set up these centre pull brakes. Some people clamp them against the rim and all that sort of thing. With me, these Shimano ones, I've had these before. They're really quite well behaved. So I'm just going to hold it up while I clamp the brake in place. Let's see what we got. Spongy mungy. Well, that's not very inspiring. I'm not putting my life on the line for that. Slight problem we've got here is that I haven't actually got the room to put an adjuster. So I've got to try and get this spot on. There we go. Oh wow. There we go. Well, we've got a brake, just got to tighten it up now. Okay, I'm going to let you into one of my centre pull setup secrets now, because these still aren't quite right. I use a grip pretty much to hold these on, and then normally there's enough left in the cable once it's tight for me to get the feel of the brake I want. See, that's still not very tight. Personally, I'd rather do a blooming canty. In fact, I'm going to put a better hanger, because these hangers are turd. Okay, so with the whim straddle in place, shall we see what we get? Wow, that's actually too much. Ha ha! Never too much, never too much. Just going to make sure this is all seated the way it should be. Front one's in. Brake feel is, well, it is unfortunately what it is. It's an old lever and an old brake. It certainly has power. It just doesn't feel very nice. It's a little spongy. I'm trying to work out whether I've got the ratio wrong on these levers. Maybe I can't see how it would be. If I go out through the top of the lever, do I get a better pull ratio? Probably. But anyway, we're in the ballpark, and they are powerful. They just don't feel very nice. Check this out back while I set it up. Magic. Okay, so as this bike continues to rocket together, it's gear time. And even though I'm going for friction and all that other stuff, I still couldn't help but get myself some Campag cables. It just felt right. Those of you that might not have seen bar and shifters before, they're a pretty old school thing, but they're still around. And you tend to find them either on the end of adventure bikes and things like that, or time trial bikes, or pretty much any bike where you might fancy doing it. And you can hide the cable in all the way round and in, or you can do it in the traditional way, which is to go up here as close to the lever as you can get and come out and down. I'm not sure what we're going to do yet. Oh, I'd love to hide it all the way. Let's come out from there. So we'd come out from there, we go up, round. Oh, I think we can do it. That's doable. Wouldn't that look nice? Yes, it would. Let's have a go. If this goes horribly wrong, it's all on me. Let's see how much cable I've got. Make sure I've got enough to do 2 of them, which I have, and then enough for the back bit. That's marvellous. It's almost like I planned it. And I didn't, I promise you. A little bit of light oil inside the inner. God, I hope the gear cable's going to be long enough. Let's take this up. Oh, wow. Okay. That's going to look neat as a little trick, that. Onwards, down, and we'll rejoin this at the back. Now, I joked that this cable might not be long enough. It might not be long enough. Blimey. Outer guide, I'm a bit on the short side, to be honest, just to get it to reach. These are always the compromises. This is quite a bit shorter than I'd be happy with it being. We might have to go with it just to get this to work. Another inch on a bit of out there. No, I think we can do it a little bit better than that. Okay, I've gone a little bit longer. see if we can get this to work. It's tight, but I think it will work. Oh, Mamma Maglione. It's snug. Oh, yeah, there we go, right. Oh, at least that works though, look at that! And after the success of the back one, I've quickly sorted the cables out at the front. Let's get this front derailleur done. And it's bar tape, and we can take a look at her. Nice and tight. Well, there we go. Well, that's just blooming perfect. Okay, pretty much final job on the cards now is bar tape. And I've gone for this sort of aged red kind of colour because I'm a bit bored of black bar tape at the minute. So it's going to be a much easier wrap than I originally thought because we've internally routed the bar end shifter. So this is going to look really, really rather nice. Oh, this tape's lovely. Yes, like a bit of this. Okay, well look at this. Doesn't it look cool? Retro vibes for days. I've turned this 650B frame that's been hanging up for such a long time in my workshop into something that I want to get out and ride. I love the way this looks, but it has been such a battle. It has fought me a lot of the way, this thing, just trying to get the right wheel size, get it clean, get brakes that work. Tawneys were brake number 4. So they were brake number 4, but we got there. We got the Randonneur tyres. We've got a primarily Campagnolo group set, rolling friction with 10-speed Shimano gearing out back. Got 1134 on the cassette. We've got 4630 out front. What a great mix. That should handle everything from road work to long distance work to a little bit of light sort of trail use, if you will. You know, your odd gravelly tracks and bit of towpath here and there, and cycle network, which I like to use quite a lot. A bit of National Cycle Network. This will be perfect. I've topped it off with the Bernie Heinel retro turbo saddle. That's the real deal, looking smart up there, and that awesome Pro logo bar tape, which I'm just so pleased with. Don't forget as well, converted that shifter from 10 speed to friction, and it is working really well so far. The frame looks great. It is a bit battle scarred, but I like it. All that's left to do now is sign off, because we're not riding this today because it's dark, wet and rainy, and yeah, it'll have to wait for a ride all its own. I think it deserves a little adventure. Oh, it also deserves to carry this bag out back, to be honest, but I can't find the mount, so that'll come later. Anyway, I hope your next ride is downhill with smooth tarmac. Keep your wheels spinning, keep your rubber on the road or your knobblies out on that trail. Be safe, look out for one another, stop and help people, cyclists or otherwise. Be a good human being first, and an even better cyclist second. If you get a minute, it'd be amazing if you could like and subscribe, but don't let that get in the way of you getting out there and riding that bike. Until next time, it's been downhill smooth tarmac, and I thank you.